Alright, so today I'm going to show you how I plan on cheesing max strength and stamina for cheap. There are a lot of guides on YouTube that tells you to buy a bunch of expensive stims and use that every raid for you to run faster and longer. And that will be like 130k per raid, which is quite expensive and adds up really quick. And so I won't be using any of these stims. Instead, I'm going to show you a factory speedrun method that will get you a lot of points in a very short amount of time, and you can spam this over and over again for almost no money spent. Alright, before we go into the cheesing method, we first need to understand some of the key mechanics of Tarkov skills. There are three main zones when it comes to leveling a Tarkov skill. First is the bonus zone, where you can gain 129% of skill XP. And then you will hit the neutral zone, where you have 100% gain for your skill XP. And then you'll go into the exhausted zone, where it's only a 50% XP gain for your skills. So now that you understand there are three different zones, we need to know when these three zones apply within a raid. So for strength and endurance, you will be in the bonus zone for every first sprint of a raid. And it doesn't matter if you only sprint for a couple of steps or you sprint out your entire stamina bar. So it's very important that you don't waste your bonus zone, because you only realistically get the bonus zone once per raid, and that's the first time you sprint. So you want to make sure for your first sprint, you always sprint out your entire stamina bar. The second mechanic is weight limit. So it doesn't matter how much your character weighs, as long as you are in the yellow zone, like this, you are leveling strength. So if you're barely over the yellow zone, you'll be leveling the same amount of strength as if you are extremely overweight. So all you want to do is you want to load into the raid just barely overweight. That way you can run far and fast and gain more points. Because coming in heavy will just slow you down and make you run slower, and you'll gain less. Now, I'm not saying you should stop leveling strength the normal way, which is going into a raid slightly overweight and then sprinting out your entire stamina bar. And you can do that by just buying these shotgun magazines, which are almost a kilo each, and they can just add some weight to your kit. You should still be doing that. The factory method I'm going to show you is more of a supplement to your normal raids, so you should be spamming this over and over whenever you have downtime. So forget about going on scavs after you die from a raid. Just do the factory method and spam that. So to do the factory method, you'll need a couple of things. The Epsilon case you can get from completing the Punisher series of quests from Prapper, and the tank battery you can just buy from the flea market for 200k. And this is really good because once you're done with the tank battery, Therapist will buy it back for 200k. So you basically didn't spend any money. And then I like to bring a double barrel and some rounds just for personal protection. So now I'm going to show you how the factory cheese method works. As you can see, I just died from a raid, and you don't want to be paying therapists to heal you, because that is an actual ripoff. Instead, we're just going to exit out and then load straight back into factory doing the cheese run. Okay, so now I'm getting ready to load into factory, and from the previous raid, I had a heavy bleed. So all I have to do is fix that. You can be low HP, that's fine, and save some money on the therapist, because you might be dying a lot doing this factory run. So once you've fixed up all the bleeds and fractures, you should be ready to go. Just make sure you have no bleeds and fractures so you can run properly. Being low HP is fine because you won't really be PvPing anyways. And then after you're done with the factory cheesing, when you're ready to load into a proper raid, you can just use the Grizzly to heal up. So now we're going to take a look at our strength skill, and then we'll compare that after we do the cheese. And now we're going to load into a factory raid. Okay, so once you load in, you're just going to start sprinting. Oh, there's a player, yep. And you want to just try and avoid the players. Just keep running, just keep running. Well, your goal is to sprint out your entire stamina bar, and then you don't really care what happens afterwards. But ideally, you want to make it to the extract. Players there. And then Just gonna stand here for a second for my stam to regen. And then we're gonna make the final dash to the extract. Let's go. I think I hear someone behind me. Holy fuck! Yeah, this is a little scary. There it is. The factory cheese method. It's very fast and you can keep spamming this. The raid time was 1 minute and 21 seconds. That's it. And just make sure I have no bleeds. Yep, I'm good. Now I'm out. I'm ready to go back in again. So now we're gonna compare the strength XP we got. Before we were at 84.9. And then after 1 minute and 20, we were at 90.1. That's a 5.2 XP gain for just one raid. And that's about how much you should expect from a normal raid. But you just did that in 1 minute 20 and you can keep spamming it for very cheap. So yeah, that's how you do the factory cheese method. If you like it, leave a comment below and subscribe.